Hello, welcome back to BSLIVE. Today I want to talk about my new initiations for Sketchfab. So basically I created a new collection especially made for some of my geometry nodes creations. So as you already know, I spent many years on YouTube sharing video tutorials mostly about nodes. I started with just SVerchok nodes and animation nodes. And recently Blender has geometry nodes, and with geometry nodes it really unlocks a lot of procedurality creations and all kind of concept and ideas that you can create your own geometry nodes setup, and then you can share the video tutorial about it online. However, it doesn't stop there. Some of my blend files and the nodes actually shared at my GitHub. However, in recent Sketchfab, they actually allow geometry nodes. So with Blender 3.0 and higher, you can upload the geometry node setup, and it will actually still available for you live. I'm gonna make most of them free. However, like this one, I really quite like this one. This is the mount blend more. I just charge this $5. If you like to give donations, $5. Maybe one day I'll just give this for free. But anyway, you can recreate this just by watching my video tutorial. It's pretty simple. And things like this are, however, okay, you can upload the original blend. So it's like the source file, right? If you look at this one, for example, this one doesn't look exactly like the final result. This is the dual mesh piece stone. This is like the broken type 3D type that I shared a few days ago. If you download the blend, download the original format, the blend, and let's just wait a few seconds. So you're gonna see it's gonna be inside this folder called source. So this is the piece stone. If you open this using Blender 3.0 or higher, let me show you. So this is the result. Pretty interesting, right? So this includes all the geometry nodes setup that you can just change to anything. All right, so I give this for you for free to play around with. This is the dual mesh creations of the text. It's actually super basic, but I think this is still pretty fun to play with. And as you can see, this one have this grid and stuff. The grid is the one that's been shown by Sketchfab. So some of the setup will probably Sketchfab actually doing, when you upload the blend, it will try to find the geometry that it's gonna show on the thumbnail preview, but you can actually hide this kind of a secret message or something, like because it's like it's almost like a code, but it's more like USD, maybe like universal screen description, but in form of nodes, geometry nodes. This rainbow, okay, rainbow or the stage chair one is actually pretty cool. This one is actually an instance of the chair table that I shared a few days ago. So if I download the blend files, you can study the node 3. This is really simple setup, you know, let's just chair and the table, whatever, but it's already been instanced nicely. It's almost like one day you can just put a lot of procedural assets together and just download it. That's the main idea. So I just can open it. So all right, this is the setup. This is the blend file that I just downloaded from Sketchfab. You can see I have this plane, okay, and I also have this chair table set. Inside of chair table set, this is all geometry node setup, and each one of them is still adjustable. Okay, so this is really powerful. You just downloaded something from Sketchfab that's actually in a form like not NFT. This is like an asset. Okay, so it's an asset that you can scatter and then you can place using Blender's asset manager. asset browser. Okay, so and then yeah, basically arrange into shape. Like this one also, the rainbow extrude, and this one the wabi sabi imperfect ceramics that I just uploaded earlier. All of these are all still procedural, and you can take a look. You can download and study that. If you don't understand the Node 3, just you can watch my video tutorial about it. So you can, the cool thing also, I think you can have like a dependency like animation nodes or SVerchok. So you can specify, for example, if I use SVerchok nodes and I create something using torus node, for example, and draw. Sorry, I just have a blank just now. It's a lot of things. Cycles. Okay. Say this is a cool thing. This is just simple nodes. And you want to pass this into geometry nodes, for example. So we have dependency. We have this SVerchok nodes doing something. Let's create multiple and then just merge all of them into single objects. Okay. And we want to use this inside geometry nodes. File, save as. I'm gonna save this on the desktop. I will upload this to Sketchfab and see if Sketchfab can read it. This is gonna be random gm_sv. Geometry nodes create torus node, and I will create another something, just a default cube, and then with geometry nodes I will pull this curve and then use it inside geometry nodes. Okay, what's the easiest way? Maybe resample the curve itself. You can see input geometry has unsupported type mesh. Okay, this is funny. Okay, the cube is pulling the curve. So the funny thing is that maybe you can actually just work on the curve generated using SVerchok. Okay, so you use geometry nodes on the curve itself, so you can resample. Oh, still doesn't like it. Okay, let's do this again. So the cube, geometry nodes, just pull this curve. It's still a curve, however it doesn't read it. So anyway, mesh to curve. Okay, now it's starting to be something. I believe if you actually get rid of the bevel, it's becoming a curve. That's the weird part. Okay, so you can actually resample now. Okay, now it makes sense. Right, curve from SVerchok, just remove the bevel depth and you have an actual curve now. So you can, like, maybe you can use point to volume to mesh. Okay, you have these balls and you can increase the number. Now we actually have something that's kind of interesting. This is Blender 3.1. all right, I can triangulate and make a dual mesh if I want to. Okay, a little bit more interesting. Maybe yeah, okay, a little bit more interesting. So this is already quite something. Okay, so if I right click and convert to mesh, I think yeah, it keeps the final result. I will actually create a material as well, give it a color maybe, and then set material. So hopefully what we just created here will upload to Sketchfab. So I'm gonna upload it. So just the blend, just upload the blend file and then see if Sketchfab can understand the node tree we just created. Okay, it's gonna usually take a few minutes. Okay, it's actually pretty fast. Almost ready, done. So I will usually add a tag. So this is, like I say, this is kind of my initiations. I think if you're doing this with Sketchfab, eventually you can have like assets that you can pull from Sketchfab and can connect to Blender, and you can create like a scenes. Oh, this one processing failed. Okay, processing file. So unfortunately, this one actually failed to process. There is no data to display, which is kind of weird because I think it. Oh, the SVerchok. Okay, the SVerchok. All right. SVerchok is because Sketchfab doesn't have SVerchok, so it doesn't recognize this alpha that's being generated procedurally. So in order to make this to work, let's see. Let's save this as a new blend. I'm gonna duplicate this. So this is like the bake version. So inside of this, we're gonna use alpha bake. So it's like a realized instance. So let's try again. This time, hopefully it works. Re-upload. Because at Sketchfab server somewhere, it's gonna take a look at the blend files and okay, still one. This one doesn't work. Somehow it doesn't like the curve. In that case, I'm gonna get rid of the SVerchok one. Get rid of SVerchok. Get rid of this alpha. We have this alpha bake. And we have this cube. This is the result after we process the curve. File, save as. Let's try again. Hopefully this one works. Yeah, if this one doesn't work, it doesn't like the curve somehow. Unfortunately, maybe we just make something else. Maybe I should have used Blender 3.0 actually. Oh, the dual mesh. The dual mesh is doing something that you need to work using Blender 3.0, I think. So I did something silly. Okay, let's do this. Just use the star. Get rid of the dual mesh and just have a triangulated random shapes. Okay, it's very basic, simple. And the parameters you can pipe it out into the group input. So you have control over the points. This is just for your you're gonna share this with other Blender artists, right? You're gonna upload it online. So let's just re-upload. Let's go back. So imagine there's a Blender somewhere on the cloud and it's trying to process your blend files. It needs to have, maybe it needs to have SVerchok, it needs to have the right Blender geometry nodes versions. And we're gonna upload the one that works with the same that version of Blender on the cloud. Anyway, the idea is just really to upload the nodes tree that works with Sketchfab server. When it works, then you are actually sharing the source code, and hopefully this one works. Again, I will give it a tag geometry nodes. I will save it and publish it. Let's take a look. Okay, so we have something that works. So this is still procedural. Usually you might need to give it a bit of light to make it look a bit nicer. It looks basic, but still this is really cool because this is geometry nodes working inside it. Okay, the material seems to be disappear. It's using the default materials. We can control the light, etc. So this is just super basic star. I could still share this node. I think the node 3 still pretty cool, and you can do a little bit more here. For example, I'm sharing this star. Maybe I want to scatter some random things. Big box or icosphere. I can distribute some points. Scattering some points on these star shapes, and I want to instance on these points a bunch of icosphere. Maybe Poisson disk. Or something random like and then realize instance. Okay, you need to realize instance, otherwise it's not gonna work. And plug the normal into the rotations. Maybe icosphere is not so cool, so just use cone instead. A little bit more interesting, I guess. There you go. The depth, scale. Okay, you can still go back to the star shapes. Okay, it's a kind of like a starfish. Save this. Go back to Sketchfab and okay, let's exit this. We're gonna try to maybe I just gonna re-upload it. So like I said, this is like the source files. It's the blend files with the nodes, geometry nodes 3 that uploaded into Sketchfab, and the Sketchfab engine on the cloud will convert it into kind of like a bake mesh, so you can view it online. At some point, I think Sketchfab can maybe use the parameters that you expose in geometry node. So it's possible that this become quite something in the near future. Just gonna make it free. Okay, let's see the model. I will I will save this into a category. So view the model. I will add this into the BS geometry nodes, Blender Sushi geometry nodes. So it's nice and tidy inside the collections. So this is the result. Again, the materials become basic. So you lost the materials, but you didn't really lose it because you can still come back to Blender and then set the material maybe. So you assign the material here. You can actually do all sort of things, like you can add a remesh, for example. Okay, geometry nodes remesh and the material disappear. So it's always a good idea maybe to add another geometry nodes. Just set material here at the end. So this is a set material. Subsurface scattering, give it some color. This, okay, I can always re-upload it into Sketchfab, but for now, I'm just gonna give it a bit of light, and the material just the basic one. And this is something that you can share, and then you can also sell it. You can sell the assets to whoever online. So I think, yeah, I think this is a good initiations as we are entering year 2022. So you can have now the Blender assets that's a geometry nodes and also still alive. So if you download the blend files, people can change the parameters and then re-export it. So, right. So this is my collections, PS geometry nodes. I have other stuff. So this is all procedurally generated with all the blend file source code. I have other projects like art therapy, sushi junks. This one is a 3D scan of junks on the street. This one is more like proper 3D scan. I will try to improve the quality. This one is the art therapy, like some things that I like to just made randomly and I just gonna put it online. Anyway, I think the geometry nodes, this is what I've been working on for years. I guess thanks to Sketchfab for also to have some like a place, really cool place to put your 3D blend collections that you can sell to other people. It's kind of nice. Yeah, and hopefully this is useful. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.